Guys, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Good morning. Wednesday, January 28th. Got a lot going on today. A lot of things, got some NBA, NHL, college hoops. It's going to be action-packed. So for the next hour, we're going to be placing some bets. Looking for some value. Let's just dive in. I have the DFS pulled up, ready to rock and roll. We're going to start off with some PrizePicks, see what we can cook up there. Hopefully you guys were able to tail the better slips, and we had the PrizePicks taco yesterday that hit for us, which was sick. So we cashed 2 DFS slips that I shared yesterday. And at the moment, we do have value here on PrizePicks. Don't know why. Oh, odds jam. Don't know why my bet sizing. This happens every now and then with the bet sizing. I got to switch this up. I got to open this up on a new tab because this is definitely annoying. But this 3-pick slip here on PrizePicks looks really good. And we're going to grab, at least this Sam Merrill play. We're going to grab this. We're deviating to FanDuel right now because at the moment when I was looking for Pinnacle, wasn't seeing much. But we're just going to go around the horn book by book for DFS first, and then we'll look at some arbitrage, look at some middle betting, positive EV. So we're going to over 2.5 threes for Sam Merrill. All right. Cool. Let's go over here, and again, guys, I'm just deviating to FanDuel. Worst case, you can use power too. I'm fine with power. Kind of go back and forth, but you can see Pinnacle nothing there. They might not have any player prop odds shown just quite yet. What's up, Irish man? Kurt, good morning. Yeah, man. Like I said, January's been tough. Been really tough. It was tough again yesterday. So I'm going to be switching up my, it's been tough enough, I would say, guys. I'm going to switch up my approach a little bit. You could argue I should have maybe did this like a week or two ago. But you're not going to see me place as many bets on the stream as I normally do because I am really going to tighten up the markets that I'm going after. I'm also going to focus a little bit more on some live betting and live arbitrage. So going to switch up the approach a bit. So let's just look at Jalen Smith and Josh Hart's a little bit above and beyond. So I'm still going to share some DFS slips, but some of the plays that maybe I would go after, just been going through my historical data, and I'm going to stick to some markets that I know I have good historical numbers with. And so that's what, at least for, I don't know, the next week or two, we're going to take a look at this. So on my DFS slips, I'm not going to wager as much as I normally do. Like yesterday, some 4-pick slips on DraftKings pick 6 for their boost. I put $50 down. Probably I'm going to tighten that up even if it is plus EV. I'm just not going to be as aggressive because obviously getting my butt kicked. Looking at Josh Hart on this over. All right, great. So we're going to go ahead and throw this 3-pick slip together. Still going to throw together slips and bet them. Just not going to bet them for nearly as much as I normally will until we start to see some life. Guys, when you're starting to get your ass kicked a little bit, this is when you kind of tighten things up a little bit more. Also, guys, comments, streams open to any and all. Everybody, it's not just OGs and DGens. Anyone, feel free to jump in. No doubt, Irish, no doubt. Chi-Town, good morning. Wilbo, good morning. CXX, morning. K-Liquid, sorry, this is probably a dumb question. But can I start daily session betting tracking for 2026 taxes? Yeah, K-Liquid, so anything that's tax related, it's a great question, but you're going to want to consult your local tax professional. I'm not a tax professional, and I'm not going to really give advice on taxes. I'm not going to pretend that I know it all when it comes to that. So I would definitely set up a meeting or a call or an email with whoever you do your taxes with and ask that individual that question. Great question, but that's not what I do. I don't do taxes. But appreciate the question. All right, so there's the 3-pick slip on PrizePicks. And so, if you're like me, guys, and you're getting your butt kicked in January, it's definitely important, for me, it's I don't stop and say, all right, well, I'm never going to gamble again because I know the edge is there. It's just that we're going to start looking for lowering my bankroll size. So then the amount of money that I'm wagering is less, which, yes, that does mean that it's going to take me a longer time to get back to level and then profitable. But that's the way it goes right now, right? I've kind of given it a long enough amount of time where I'm still not seeing it. And then also it's time for me to shift kind of the approach, right? I've lost enough where it's like, all right, we're going to introduce some live arbs. And then I'm only going to bet into markets historically that I know I've done very well. So you're going to see me bet NHL goal scorers because I've done very well with that. Yesterday was a losing day for me, but for NHL goal scorers, it was still a break-even day. And when I'm betting longer odds, I know I have an edge there. And then some other markets with the NBA that I know that I have an edge long-term over the last couple of years. So that means you're going to see less player props from me. And so looking over here in the sharp money tool, we could also have went with Eamon Thompson, but we're just not going to touch that. Let's look at underdog. So that's kind of my approach, right? If it was, and that's probably at like, that's about here, right? If I was absolutely like panic mode, I would just only arbitrage. I would only arbitrage. And there's nothing wrong with just going with arbitrage, but for me and my risk tolerance, that's where I would say I'm definitely at right now. I got to switch up and change up the bankroll settings here because I don't know why OddsJam has it for what it is. So let me save the changes here. Let me refresh this page. Does that work? Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. All right, so looking over here at underdog. Again, Sam Merrill for FanDuel. FanDuel really likes this Merrill play over on his threes. Bookmakers minus 140, FanDuel's minus 150. So I'm willing to put Merrill on two different slips. It's fine by me. And over 2.5 threes. Cool. I could do Jalen Smith. I could do Josh Hart again. I could do some others. Let's see if we can get anything for Pinnacle. Nothing for Pinnacle. They just might not have their player props. They might not have dropped those yet. Let's look at Bookmaker because Bookmaker's a sharp book. Con over on points. All right. And then Max Christie under on points. Okay. Obviously, they're a little more bullish than FanDuel is, but I'm okay with that. Either sharp book, guys, you're not going to catch me being too upset with that. All right, so this is going to be they're saying Con's projection's inactive. All right. Dean Wade under on rebounds because this is still to Bookmaker a 3% edge. All right, cool. Which I like this. If Merrill hits some threes, maybe Wade doesn't grab a lot of rebounds. 3-pick slip, guys. I'll share this with you. No, Caleb, well, that's all right, man. Like I said, appreciate you asking. Sorry I can't be more helpful there, but a very good question, and your head's definitely in the right. You're thinking correctly. Appreciate that. What's up, MP? Good morning to you, man. Oh, Wilbo. Damn, you guys can't get nothing past, man. I can't get nothing past you. All right, so. Model. Yes. I have created my own model that I am just testing out on my own. So yes, Wilbo, because I don't hide from anything. I'm not going to lie and say, no, it's someone else's model. Yes. Over the month of December and this month, I have been working on creating my own NBA player prop models for a couple categories. So kind of putting it to work for myself first. But yeah, I decided back in the beginning of this, like the middle of December, that I wanted to create some of my own models. And it's taken me a lot of time, especially then with being sick, but finally have some created. And I'm not going to be giving out any plays for those. I'm just tracking them on my own. So yeah, that is 100% correct though. Appreciate it though, Wilbo. But yes, I have. And so really looking to get the rest of the NBA season under my belt just to see how it looks. Because I'm really setting this up for next NBA season. But I want to get it, I want to put it to use since we still have around 35-ish games left this season. We just passed the halfway point. So looking at that. So yes, I did. Took me some serious time, but we're there. We're there. Better, nothing for Pinnacle. So Pinnacle's obviously hasn't dropped player prop odds yet. FanDuel. We cashed the better slip last night, guys. Hopefully the one discounted slip with, what was it, Embiid? Yeah. We cashed this one, which was nice. Where's this? It's, there we go. We cashed this one last night. So hopefully you guys were able to tail that one with Evander Kane and Embiid and Sar. But that was a nice little cash. Again, I'll be playing these better slips all day long. We got Donovan Mitchell. We got today at 10:30 we got this Karn, 28.5 kills. Lines at 31.5. It looks like it's a discount. Again, we could go with Merrill again. I'm not going to do that. Khan, though, on his rebounds and assists. Let's see what we got here. Under 8.5. Again, this is only a market that's being offered by FanDuel, so I lean into them as a sharp. And then Peyton Pritchard. Over 9.5. 3-pick slip. No insurance. So this is a perfect slip, guys, on better. $10 max entry. And I'll share this link with you guys for better. Caleb says, I've been in Florida, so it's been tough trying to live arb with prop builder Onyx. DK was a nightmare last night. Onyx just kept giving me errors. Yeah, Caleb, unfortunately, Onyx is really terrible for live betting. It's you know, you can definitely get plays in on there for pregame. For live, Onyx is tough. Even for pregame is tough. If you watched last night's stream, me trying to put together the parlay, that was the 35% boost. It was terrible. Yeah, Adrian, have a lot. Great question. I do have a lot of videos. Ones that come to mind are, anything that's like lucrative strategy. So I've made videos on NHL, NBA, college basketball, MLB. I made a video on tennis. So either OddsJam's channel or my channel. If it says like lucrative strategy, that's definitely a step-by-step tutorial strategy with this, and this. NBA first quarter strategy is a video I made going over first quarter totals, and it gives you step-by-step odds range. So those are definitely some videos. If some of my videos, like the one I just released, like 6 steps, there's no like odds range on those. But I would definitely, if you're looking for, just go through my like history of videos and quickly just rifle through some, 2x speed it or just fast forward. See if I get to a spot where like whenever I'm sharing the video, whenever I'm sharing my screen and I'm on this filter screen, I'm about to share some odds with you. So that's kind of a good indicator. But unfortunately, I've made so many videos now, I can't remember them all. So I would definitely just kind of fast forward that. Let's look to see if bookmakers offering anything, because we do have another discount over here. Con on points. So this was good before. Let's add this Donovan Mitchell boost. This is 35 points and assist. So this is a discount there. And let's go back to Con. We just took his under on his points and rebounds and assists, but we're looking for his points on this one. Okay, and then Jock Landale. And this dude plays for the opposite side. He plays for Memphis. So I don't mind that. And same thing. Okay, cool. $10 perfect entry on better. There we go. I'll share this. And that's pretty much what I'm going to stick with better, guys. I'm just going to play their discounts, and that's it. But good to hear that, Caleb. We appreciate that, man. All right, so let me take a screenshot of this one. All right, let's take a look at Dabble. See what's up. All right, 3 results. Honestly, it's too low. The Jock Landell plays fine. So we might be able to. We'll have to come back to this. This is devigging the bookmaker. Let's devig to FanDuel. No results on FanDuel. Okay. If I switch this to Power, do I get anything else? 1 result on FanDuel. And it's Jalen Smith on 3s, which we already hit up. Okay. Naturally, guys, this is going to change throughout the day. But at the moment, it's all right. What about the Sharp Money tool? Let's look at the Sharp Money tool and see what's up. 2 results. All right, that's a lot of money on Eamon Thompson. I'm not going to lie. This person wants it at minus 125 odds. I mean, someone's already posted $2,200. They want the under at minus 125. And honestly, that's a very competitive price that this person is offering. So this is kind of the first thing I think about the Sharp Money tool. I'm like, all right, well, this is a decent amount of money. It's the first thing I look at. I'm like, all right, no sharp books other than FanDuel's posted odds. So remember, if this person is offering you plus 125 odds, that means they want the opposite. They want minus 125. And they want the under. So then I start to look at the under, and I'm like, well, this person wants it at minus 125. Let's look at the odds here. Like, well, FanDuel's minus 132, Caesars 135, DraftKings 124. So this is a very competitive price that they're offering. It's not like this person wants this under at minus 101 odds, right? And you're like, dude, you're not going to get that filled at minus 101. Like, this is actually out there. So on Dabble, we'll fire up the points and assist here. And because I can get down with this, right? I got 2 other plays on Bookmaker. So I got to use it on the phone, guys. Again, follow me. Billy C is the username. And we're going to go with Eamon Thompson. Pretty solid slate of NBA games tonight, not going to lie. Yeah, Irish got that as well, the no sweat entry. Points and assist. Appreciate you shouting that one out. Points and assist for Thompson. Under 22.5. Cool. Right now Jake LaVaria, we might get a good price here, right? Like you can see Bookmakers 145. Not great to FanDuel, but, you know, might be willing to go on this because DVing the Bookmaker, this is very good. Okay. So I'll go with Landau and I'll go with Jake again. Over 11.5 on Jock. Again, I like to put players on 2 slips max. I don't get caught up in the last 5 games, guys. I think it's sucker bet kind of stuff. A lot of guys just look at the last, you know, that's how they try to pull the casual sports bettor. And that's how the casual sports bettor thinks like they're really sharp. But that's not always really indicative of anything. All right, and then over 8.5. So this is going to be a 3-pick slip. Cool. And I'll play this for this. All right. We're in. We're in on that slip. And bingo. Again, username is Billy C on Dabble. You can just copy the slip if you want to, because I don't really know how to share the link on here or to get it over in my Apple Notes so that I can share the link with you guys. So that's my best recommendation at the moment. And let's look at DraftKings Pick 6. Anything? 4 results. Kind of the same cast of characters. Okay. It's a little lower edge here on Champagny, Dean Wade. What about FanDuel? We'll look at Pinnacle as well. Nope. FanDuel 1 result. So, yeah, Champagny's kind of consistent on Bookmaker and FanDuel. That's the one that they do agree on. So, I'm on Dean Wade a couple different ways. I'm already on Jake here on 2 slips. So I'm just going to wait until tonight's stream, guys, at 6 p.m. Eastern to cook up something for DraftKings Pick 6. Okay, let's go to the Sharp Money tool. I guess I'll pull up the Sharp Money tool for Pick 6. And then we're just going to look at all markets. And, yeah, obviously the liquidity here is not great. But the pricing is very good to Bookmaker. Not good at Pinnacle, not good to FanDuel. Okay. Let's open this up to everything, right? We want to look at mainline markets and player props. I don't mess around with alt markets too often, guys. Low liquidity, I feel like you can get limited a little bit quicker. So let's just see what the top play is. Overtime. We've talked about this book. I signed up with them yesterday. I figured out how to use them. I will say this, guys. The odds that you see on overtime here are incorrect more times than not, okay? And the reason that I say that for NHL total goals, really, guys, I would only use overtime right now for player props because it seems that every other market, OddsJam is pulling in the incorrect odds. So they're pulling the wrong odds. So on this Avs Senators game, okay, the reason that you see this play is right here. So this total goals is being at plus 103. Right here, though, they're pulling this play from the total regular time goals. So the total goals market in general includes overtime, but OddsJam is pulling the wrong odds because this is for just regular time, meaning that if there isn't overtime, then this is, you have to basically, you got to forget about overtime. So this has to be a 4-2 hockey game at the end of regulation. Maybe this is a boost. But I got to think if you're betting, only maybe if you're betting the over, right? Because if you're betting the over, if it's 3-3, you're right. If we need 7 goals in the hockey game, overtime doesn't really matter, I guess, unless it's 3-3. Well, if it's 3-3, no, excuse me, it's a loss. I'm sorry, it's a loss. Never mind. Forget that logic. It's early in the morning here. So don't bet this. Don't bet this market because OddsJam's pulling in the odds from the regular time. This doesn't include overtime. And so all the books here, if you're betting this on FanDuel, this includes overtime. So don't do that. So just a quick tip on overtime. Almost screwed that one up. This is one I haven't signed up with. Boomers. I don't know if has anyone signed up with Boomers? Let me know in chat if you have. Looks like this looks incredible on the Hawks money line. Like this isn't just good. This is really good. This is plus 230 odds. This is excellent. Now, I'm not so much impressed by the liquidity being posted here on the Sharp Money Tool, but the odds that you're getting at Boomers compared to Bookmaker, compared to Pinnacle, this is an excellent, excellent price. It's very, very EV. Same with the Senators. Not that good, actually. Their price here, it's okay to Bookmaker, not very good to Pinnacle. So in this instance, like the Hawks money line, I would definitely sprinkle something on there. Half unit, maybe a full unit, because that's really EV. The Senators play, the liquidity is below Pinnacle's limit of 5K, and the price is barely better. So I'm not as interested. So that's what I would say. Simon's here, obviously, not many sports books have posted odds yet. This person wants this play on the under 22.5 PRA for $2,500 at minus 135 odds. So you can get a better price at MGM, Hard Rock, or the same price at SportsZeno, right? And in my opinion, guys, if you're someone that's posting $2,500 of liquidity on an NBA player prop on no vig, I find it hard to believe that you're a casual sports bettor. Only truly sharp professional bettors and betting syndicates or people that know about sharp betting like OddsJam and Unabated and A-Train Station, they know about no vig. Your local, your buddies, they don't know about ProfitX and no vig. That's my belief. So someone that's posting this much amount of money this early in the morning, maybe before their full-time job, getting their liquidity down, or they just want to get it down early in the morning, they're probably using a model. Mavs on the money line. This is just a very good price on Ballybet and Bet Parks, and it's not that bad on Bet Rivers if you wanted to bet this. On an NBA moneyline play, we're talking 19 cents off the main price. I'm super limited on Ballybet out here in Arizona, so can't get that. But this is a good play on the Mavs money line. It's a long shot, right? So I don't really care about the liquidity being posted here. It's below Circa's limit. It's below Pinnacle's limit, but the price is very good, right? Bookmakers at 213. You can get this at 235 or even at 230. 230 is still very, very good. So we talked about the Simons play. So this is where I still go through all the plays, guys. Like this Navy Boston University play. Like Pinnacle's taking $250 on this totals, right? Someone has $2,100. It's not an insane amount, but it's a lot more than what Pinnacle's taking this early in the morning. And they want this at minus 105 odds. So Navy Boston University, we're talking two smaller schools, right? It's not ACC, it's not SEC basketball. Definitely could be something that, forget about thinking Pinnacle's really sharp here because they're taking a small amount. But, if someone wants it at minus 105, all of these books are in play, guys. You want to bet this on FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, Canby, be my guest. Obviously, betting this over at the score is decent. Hard Rock's decent. I'm fine doing this, right? I'm fine doing a little sprinkle here, seeing how this works out. One of the few times, it's been a while since we've done this. I'm probably, just because I know I have some money over here, if you're like me, I'm just going to go over to Bet365 and bet this over at Bet365. I guess I should double check to make sure I can't get a better price anywhere else. Not really. So I'm just going to bet the minus 110. Okay? And we're going to look for Navy and Boston University. And I'm going to bet this over here. So under 139.5. Is it the main total here? It's not 139. It's 139.5. I already passed it up. Yeah, it's right here. Sorry. And I'm just going to bet $50. There we go. Under 139.5. So there we go. We get that. So let's hit the plus. Kay says, Boomers. Sounds like a site that's going to steal your money by making you pay them with Walmart gift cards. That's a good one. Sounds like it. Yeah, or they're just running out of names to name these books because every one of their brothers taking different books. So there it is. But again, plenty of books. You want to go to Onyx and bet this, Fliff, Bet Rivers. I'm cool with this, right? Because this is a 8x multiplier. So Navy, Boston University on the under. Eamon Thompson, we talked about him for DFS. Looks like, if nothing else, Boomers is showing some value on money line plays. Not really on this Knicks in terms of like the price, but it's popping up a little bit more. Sam Merrill on his points, over 10.5. Remember, guys, when it comes to players like Sam Merrill, Duncan Robinson, these guys normally profile as three-point shooters. So, not saying they don't take shots inside the three-point line, but primarily all of their shots are three-pointers. So, or do you think Sam Merrill's going to make 4 three-pointers in this game? That's basically might be the question. Because if he hits 3 of them, that's not enough. We need something else. So understanding some different players can definitely be helpful. Castle on his player made threes. Plus 195. This is like 35 cents off to Bookmaker. It's way off to FanDuel. Getting this at plus 195 odds, Hard Rock, Canby. This is insane. It's better at Ballybet and Bet Parks. It's not quite as good as at Bet Rivers. This is an insane price, guys. Somebody's posted this. They want this at plus 185 odds for $1,400. Again, no offense to Bookmaker. Bookmaker's sharp. There's no Pinnacle odds for this yet, but this is an insane price. So definitely really only worth it if you can get this on Hard Rock, Ballybet, or Bet Parks. Plus 195. That's way off. Way off. Okay. That's Sharp Money Tool. Let's take a look at some NHL goal scorers early in the morning. One thing that Bet365 has been showing a lot of has been goal scorers. We've got 2 results right now, though. This Mason Marchment play is a go. I got to check my Desert Diamond account. This one's insane. This is 11% EV edge. A little bit higher, right? Normally I go up to plus 250. So this is only a 28.5% chance he has to win this. So no, I don't. And then McKinnon. I would bet this play on McKinnon because he's the best goal scorer in the world, or one of the tops. and we can go to FanDuel and bet this. So I would bet both these. So, and I'll bet this for the recommendation. So Mason Marchment is a smash. It's an insane smash. McKinnon's solid. It's just not as good as Mason Marchment. Marchment would be, so that's the hard part, right, guys? Maybe you would put like 2 units on Mason Marchment. But again, it's still a long shot. Very, very long shot. We only have 3 NHL games tonight. So, yeah, definitely want to hit that up. Okay. So McKinnon and Marchment, 2 plays. Go, 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 go. Okay. That's what we got going on with NHL goal scorers. Normally, guys, though, in the morning, I do like to look at mainline markets. It's kind of my jam. So college hoops, let's look at some mainline markets for college hoops. If you are limited on Sportsino, join the crew. St. John's on the spread here. Ooh, we got a Kalshi play. I love the Kalshis. St. John's minus 11.5. By the way, the tweet that I put out yesterday, here's a great, I don't know if anyone, probably no one saw the highlights. I tweet out about Kalshi taking Grand Canyon plus 3.5. Grand Canyon's up 3 with 3 seconds left. The guy from Nevada chucks up gets the inbound pass. He's like 6 feet behind the 3-point line, chucks up a prayer, gets fouled, gets awarded 3 free throws, makes all 3 free throws, and then Nevada outscores in the Grand Canyon by 6 points in overtime. I can't make up these losses, how they're happening. It's insane. Even though I was going to have a losing day yesterday winning the Grand Canyon play, I ended up tuning in very late last night to see the end of it, and it was absolutely brutal, brutal loss. So I'm like, oh, they're up by 3. Just don't foul. Just let them chuck up a prayer. It's fine. And they fouled him. TR, no. With my process, no, not at all. I would say, if one thing that I'm just taking a guess that could be the case, it's a good question, is probably maybe an over-reliance on player props. That's just my guess. I could be wrong with you. Maybe it's betting too many player props, not enough mainline markets. That would be what I would say. I do like this play, though, quite a bit. And, kind of to piggyback on that, we've talked about this with Dub Club. Guys, on Dub Club, when I'm giving out different plays, I'm not giving out 1% EV edge plays, right? Especially on player props. We got murdered yesterday on player props. I'm giving out ARBs to sharp books. I'm giving out large 5% or higher EV edge plays. So that's why sometimes the card for player props is more condensed, because I'm truly the plays I'm giving out are really, really solid in terms of the price that you're getting and everything. Even if I'm only having you bet 1 unit, because I know how variance goes with player props. And it's just still sometimes just brutal. But TLR, that's what I would, or TR Lab, sorry, that's what I would say. Or just kind of abandon player props altogether, or make player props only 10 to 20% of your daily betting portfolio, and try to get some more mainline markets in there for sure. GG Stephen Castle, 210 on Bet365. Yeah, that looks real good then. That's one thing I kind of forgot, guys. If we're not seeing NBA player props pop up on OddsJam for Bet365, still check them from time to time. In terms of, just take a look to see what's being thrown up there. Yeah, Castle's at 210. That's really, really good. Really, really good. Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. And I've already exported my bets earlier this week. Is that Kalshi play still there? Yeah, so this is I don't know how I feel about this Kalshi play. I got to look at bookmakers' liquidity. Just to kind of see what's up and what's going on. And definitely kind of what was reinforced is, because I'm not betting, other than NHL. And that's the crazy part, right? There's definitely a sign. So let me back things up. When I bet NHL anytime goal scorers, I'm betting mostly plus 130s to plus 250s. And I've been having, I think January I might be slightly down, but I'm still overall doing extremely well. So I know that like NHL goal scorers, like I'm betting like a 25 to like 35% chance of winning those bets range, and I'm either breaking even or having a slightly losing month. So that means it's most likely NBA player props that's just absolutely murdering me. Hence why I've been so eager to create my own models, because at least I know then what's going into that model and what's giving me that recommendation. Because I don't know how Pinnacle's coming up with some of their stuff, right? And so and this is just also something that I've wanted to do on my own. So now I'm like, all right, well, we got to like scale it back on player props because I'm just getting murdered on there. And then let's look at like what markets have been doing well. And first quarter total points, guys, is a market that I've done very, very well out historically. If you guys can appreciate just how honest and open I am, I know OGs and DGens have done this, but subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot. I don't know how many people openly talk about, what they're looking to bet into and what they're looking to do. As I'm looking into the Santa Clara game, hard for me to do two things at once. Apologize. Under 150.5. So I've noticed that coin hasn't flipped my way a lot in first quarter totals this month. And just looking at some other things. So bookmakers taking $520 on this game. So I can't in good faith like say, hey, let's go jump on this Kalshi play, because even though bookmaker's sharp, this is twice the liquidity. So we're just going to move on. That's why I don't always like to bet total points. Again, though, if you believe that bookmaker's model is sharper than Kalshi, then by all means we could take a little something over here on Kalshi, right? For those of you that don't really are new to Kalshi, I bet on it every day. I don't have a ton of money in there, only like $300. But if you look at Santa Clara and San Francisco, obviously you're not going to get limited. Right here, click this game, scroll down, go to 150 over under. If we think it's going to be no, which means we bet the under, then we just type it in here. And then what I like to do, guys, in dollars is I just like to type in like 100. And this means like plus 109 odds, right? If you're betting 100, you're getting 209. That's $109 in profit. So that's plus 109. That matches the odds that OddsJam is telling. So I like to double check to make sure the price that we're getting on Kalshi is correct from OddsJam, right? So maybe I don't bet $80, right? Maybe I don't like that as much. Maybe I'll just bet $50. Just click review, click submit. And so I traded no on the over 150.5, which means I want the under. And there we go. So I'm in for $50 on Kalshi. Plenty of liquidity there if you guys want to grab this play on Santa Clara and San Francisco. But again, if you're not modeling this, then you're just relying on sharp books models. That's what you're just relying on, basically. Yeah, well, no doubt about that. Yeah, K-Liquid, in terms of like must smash, it's a combination of, is it, for player props, is it an arb to a sports book? Is it a low hold, or is it line movement? That's what the criteria I use to bet. It's really hard to say, I'd say a must smash is, like I'll go through like the Super Bowl money line play just to like give you that example. So like obviously every book and their brother has lines out for the Super Bowl. Is Bet Online on here? Yeah. So Bet Online would be the other book. So let's move this over. So let's say the Seahawks. Everybody roughly has this at like minus 222, 225. Let's say 222 is the average odds here between Pinnacle, Bookmaker, Bet Online. Where the hell's Circa at? Apologies. I was looking for Circa. Yeah. Circa's at 220. They're taking $110,000 on the Super Bowl money line. Okay. So all of my sharp books right here, these four books, Pinnacle's taking 100K, Circa's taking 110,000. Okay. If I can see that a sports book like DraftKings is offering minus 175, and I can say like, anything, taking the VIG out of these, anything below like minus 200 is EV. If I see that DraftKings is offering minus 175 and all the sharp books are at like minus 222 average odds, that's a smash. When all four sharp books have the same price and we can pick off an outlier, That's a smash. That's a nuke. That's 3 units, right? For some of you, if you wanted to bet 5 units, it's very, very aggressive, but I can understand it. That would be a smash. When all 4 sharp sportsbooks have the same price and one sportsbook is way out to lunch. That would be the consensus. Otherwise, I would just tell you to just continue to tune into the streams. And when I see an opportunity or an example, I'll kind of get very excited about it. Okay. But good question. California and Florida State, Florida State. Let's take a look at Bookmaker. Again, totals, guys, I don't get very excited about. Typically, the books don't take as much money on totals. I've cooled off on totals. I used to be hot and bothered by them. Not really anymore. I'll still bet them, don't get me wrong. But this early in the morning at 1:55, yeah, they're taking $655. So, doesn't really do anything for me. Bet US. This one looked to be good. Not good anymore. Let's take a look at... And again, I can specifically take a look for point spreads. This is probably only a Hard Rock play. Yeah, this is only a Hard Rock play, which you don't really need to watch these streams and make money on Hard Rock. You have a really good time. Here we go. A little bit lower edge. Do this on no vig first. St. John's and Butlers. Okay. So if I'm looking at St. John's and Butlers, GJ, am I limited on Bet365? Yes. Yes, I am. Bet365 is a book that will limit you to $5 across the board once you get limited. So yes, I am limited on Bet365. But Billy, how are you still using the Bet365 account? Partnerships. Partnerships. That's how. So, but good question. Bet365 is the worst book in terms of limiting, because once you get limited, it's across the board. Like we talked a lot about when you get limited on Kambi. If you don't maybe bet a lot of NHL bets because you got limited betting NBA player prop bets, your NHL markets on Kambi, you could still bet a decent amount. Maybe you don't bet a lot of soccer on Kambi. If you went over to bet soccer, you could get some decent money down. Lehigh. Let's take a look at this Lehigh play on FanDuel. Lehigh and Army. Pinnacle's taking $500. Yeah, Bookmaker's taking $580. So again, it's early in the morning, guys. So for college hoops, you're just not going to see high limits. Let's also take a look at some NBA mainline markets now. Let's take a look at that. And let's vig to Pinnacle. Yeah, K-Liquid, we don't really discuss details on partnerships. Used to. I don't discuss it anymore on the streams. I think you can deduce it for yourself. Or someone else here in the stream can answer that question for you. Good to hear that, Eric. Yeah, A-Train Station's the man, dude. I have nothing but love and admiration for A-Train Station. I got to spend some time with him at Bet Bash in August. Wonderful, wonderful man. Very helpful. So, very, very, very nice. And very smart, very sharp. So, looking at these. Timberwolves, Mavs. We've seen a lot of Timberwolves, Mavs right here. Pinnacle's taking 3K, 4CX. So here's an example. Bookmakers at minus 127. Pinnacle's at minus 137. This play on BetDSI definitely has some type of edge. Now, BetDSI is a global offshore sports book. YouTube will give me a big slap on the wrist if I show myself placing the bets in front of you on the stream. So I'm just logging in on my other monitor right here and going to place the bet over at BetDSI, assuming that this is out there. And it is. Awesome. Now, I don't have the stones to bet 180, but I'll knock this down and probably bet like 110 to make $100. But it's a very good play. And BetDSI, guys, they're awesome. Been using, this has been my same account for 3 years, 3.5 years. You might get limited. Remember, guys, if you get limited on offshore books on Props Builder, remember, Props Builder is a separate entity from that sports book. So everyone's like, man, I got limited on Bet Online. No, you didn't. You got limited on Props Builder, which all of these offshore books just hire Props Builder. So trust me, you can still bet mainline markets on Bet Online. I can promise you that for a lot of money. Bet DSI, when I bet mainline markets over there, I've been picking off their bad numbers for years. They still let me wager whatever I want. So love Bet DSI. Definitely sign up with them, guys. Obviously it's offshore. Be careful, but I definitely like that. And I would say maybe FanDuel just realized that this play on the Mavericks is, they probably just changed. Yeah, they just moved it to like 228.5. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. So what else do we got here? Bulls on the spread. Pinnacle's taking $7,500. Circa's at $3,300. So Bulls at -1.5. This could be something I would definitely be interested in. Yeah, no doubt about that, Irish. No doubt about that. And with Bet365, guys, I think there's something that's important to note. This has been talked about with Bet365. Again, I don't, unless you know someone that's a trader that works there, you're not really going to know. But with certain sports books, guys, it doesn't matter if you're crushing the CLV or not. You can get limited. Most sports books, all sports books are going to limit you if you beat the CLV. But with certain sports books, it's once you make a certain amount of profit on that account, you're just automatically limited. Okay? So if you make, like on Fliff, like I remember this with Fliff, once you made like $10,000 profit on Fliff, you just got limited. Okay? Like it was pretty simple. You don't have to worry about like, oh, am I beating CLV, this, when am I betting, what times? No, like once you made 10K, you were done. So with Bet365, it could also be that once you make, if you're able to hide your CLV and how sharp you are off of them, then it might just come down to once you make X amount of profit on that book, on that account, you're done. And that's it. So that's how it goes sometimes for certain books. But that's where, Kalshis, the No-Vigs, the Profit X's, the 4CX's, the exchanges of the world, even shout out to Bet Openly, right? That's where you're never going to have to run into that error. You're never going to run into that. Seeing some Circa value, guys. So for like Irish and for other Circa users, Jazz on the spread, under on the Spurs. Obviously, Pinnacle's taking more than Circa is on these markets. Pinnacle's taking $5K. Circa's taking $1,100. This would be something I would bet over at Circa. The Bulls on the spread, the Heat play here. These are all plays that I would definitely say go after. We talked about this all the time. I'm willing to go after lower edge main market plays because I feel like OddsJam undervalues these plays, right? And the player props, OddsJam overinflates the living shit out of player props, okay? And my reasoning behind that is that on mainline markets, you can wager way more money on mainline markets. Books are taking more money on mainline markets compared to player props. Player props, you can only maybe, the sharp books are taking $250, $500, but OddsJam's telling you it's a 10% EV play, where here, Pinnacle's taking $7,500, which they'll never take $7,500 on a player prop unless it's the Super Bowl. And it's only a 1% play, and they're telling you to bet 40. So it's not that the player props don't have an edge. It's just that it's just an overinflation. So it's under on this Heat game. I can maybe get this over at 4CX. It's just under a 1% edge play. But again, bookmakers a little more bullish on this. I don't mind that. I don't mind betting a little bit over here on that. So let me go over to 4CX. If you guys don't use it, it's an exchange. It's solid. We're looking at the under 229 on the Heat and the Magic. Just come over to the NBA. And it's available in a lot of states. And there it is right here. And I can bet this. They're telling me about $100. I'll knock this down to like 75. So I'll leave $50 out there, guys. But there we go. We're in. We get that play on 4CX for 75. That's the exchange. For those of you like, man, like Arizona, like lost Profit X and no VIG. This is now the exchange that I use to create market prices. It's not as popular as Profit X and no VIG, But it's a solid book. So shout out to 4CX. Thanks for keeping us Arizona bettors still in there. No dig on Sport Trade. Just nobody uses Sport Trade. And Sport Trade's available in Arizona as well, but nobody uses it. So for those of you that want to bet some hockey, we'll also take a look at some hockey. And we're going to probably then call it an early morning stream. One thing we'll take a look at, too, we'll look at some Super Bowl odds. Nothing there. Okay, what about Power for Pinnacle? Anything? Circa, Bookmaker, Bet Online, nothing. All right, nothing for hockey, which definitely stinks. All right, let's go next 7, not even next 7 days. Let's go from here to here, and then let's go league, and we can just do football. So that's pretty easy. And let's just select everything. What do we got? Pinnacle, we'll use the worst case model, right? Overtime, probably incorrect. Bet now, Seahawks, first half money line. Interesting. Pinnacle's taking $20,000 on this market. First half money line. Bet now is an offshore sports book. This could be this could be an error. But if it's not, check out Bet Now for any of you that have an account. Check that out. Player receptions, Hunter Henry, Trevion Henderson, Hunter Henry on Props Builder. Pinnacle is taking $1,000. You'll never see Pinnacle take $1,000 this early in the week on player props unless it's the Super Bowl. And it's the Super Bowl, baby. So this is a low hold to Pinnacle. Looks really good. Really, really good. And I'm okay with going over to, I'm already on BetDSI. I'll go over to their player props because they have Props Builder. This is Rebet Props Builder. I'm all right. Now, am I going to bet $140 on this? No, probably going to bet like 60 to 70 bucks. I'm going to cut this in half. There's an edge to this game. There's an edge to this play, no doubt about it, but like I'm not losing my mind on it. So Hunter Henry, we'll just go 70. I'll just literally cut it in half. But the under 3.5 catches looks pretty good. Now, again, this is early in the week, okay? Early in the week. The game's not until next Sunday. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. But I like that. Pinnacle's taking $1,000, guys, which is solid amount of liquidity. Trevion Henderson, again, this isn't an ARB to Pinnacle. It's not a low hold. We're going to be looking at Super Bowl props probably for, some morning streams moving forward. Again, I'm probably not going to dip my toes on any player props under 3%. Mainline markets, I would. Like this play on FanDuel. Like, yeah, definitely. Pinnacle's taking $10,000 on this, under 22.5. I love betting first half unders. But Trevion, what do we got here? So Rebet's actually been moving, and they moved recently. So we don't like seeing that. Pinnacle's been chilling. So maybe I'll hold off on it at the moment. But if I could bet this under on FanDuel, I definitely would do so. Right? Any player props below 3%, I'm not wasting my time with right now. You could bet the under 21.5. But I'll go 22.5 just for the extra point. And then anything else? 46, the over. Okay. Not much else. Not much else at the moment. Small edge on Bet365 here, guys, on the under 46.5. Again, Pinnacle's taking $30,000 on this play. So, yeah, that's a lot of dough this early. So even though this is a low edge, remember this, guys. This is the biggest game of the NFL season. It has the most interest and popularity. So any kind of edge that you can find on this is a big, big deal. I'm not saying that this is a 5% EV edge play, but I'm saying that this could be maybe a 2, maybe 2.5, right? Even though it says 0.39, but just you're taking the popularity and the market that we're betting on. This isn't like how many punts the punter is going to kick. This is the total points marker of the Super Bowl. So that's what I would say. Again, this is all going to be living in a gray area, your guesstimation on what you feel this edge really is. Because this is what the mathematical edge is, but then when you add in the other factors, I think this edge gets it goes up a couple notches. But there we go. A little bit of Super Bowl action. All right, guys. I will be back on today, 6 o'clock Eastern. Good back and forth. Appreciate everyone in the chat hanging out with me. Have an awesome morning, and I'll talk to you guys later this evening. Take care.